What's up, guys? Welcome to the Casual Horror Fan channel. Today, we're going to be discussing my list, the top 10 scariest movies, the top 10 greatest horror films ever created. Now, a few notes. This is objective. These are the best lists. If you disagree with me, you are wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I do think that objectively these are the best, but I'm certainly not qualified. So this is just the best according to me. Okay, first thing. Number two. These are not the 10 scariest, because in order for a horror film to be great, it doesn't necessarily have to be scary. Okay. So I don't want to see, Dan, this isn't scary. Why would you add this to the list? Without further ado. Oh, also number 3, it's not in order. I was going to put it in order and then I was like, it's too difficult. So we're just not going to go in order. We're going to go right down the list. We're going to start off with number 10, The Exorcist from 1973, directed by William Friedkin. Stars Ellen Burstyn, Linda Blair, and Max von Sydow. A mother seeks help from 2 priests when her young daughter becomes possessed by a demonic entity, leading to one of the most harrowing exorcism sequences ever filmed. Well, that's for sure. The Exorcist is phenomenal for a few reasons. Everything about the movie is perfect or close to perfect. The cinematography, the lighting, the score, just the sound design, the special effects, especially the special effects for the time. And on top of it, it is extremely scary, right? Which obviously has to go back. And also, it's aged incredibly well, right? It's a movie that's still really good, like over 50 years later. And that speaks to the quality of the film. Also, it's not just still very good, it's still very scary, which is almost impossible to do. So Exorcist lands at number 10. Next, we're moving to another classic from a few years prior, and it's 1960s Psycho from Alfred Hitchcock, starring Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, and Vera Miles. Synopsis: a woman on the run checks into a remote motel run by a young man under the controlling influence of his mother. What do you say about Psycho? I mean, it's Alfred Hitchcock. It's, in my opinion, if it's not his best work, it's damn close. There are maybe, I may enjoy Dial M for Murder a little bit more, but I also would definitely not call that a horror film. I would say Psycho is definitive horror film. It's brilliant. The twist is amazing. Anthony Perkins' character is phenomenal. The acting's great. The reveal at the end is still scary. I remember when I first saw it, I didn't know, which I'm lucky that I didn't know, and just being horrified by that image. It's eerie. It's all the shots in it are as close to perfect as you can get. The acting is excellent, especially for the time. Anthony Perkins is really phenomenal in that role. I just love this movie, and as everyone should. I think this should be on everyone's top 10 horror list. Number 3, we're going to go up a few years. It's 1974's the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper. Stars Marilyn Burns, Gunnar Hansen, Edwin Neal. A group of friends fall victim to a family of cannibalistic killers, including the chainsaw-wielding Leatherface. This movie's awesome. And again, I give a lot of credence to how movies have aged. This is just aged like a fine wine. Honestly, it's just as good. And maybe it's not just as good as it was if I'd watched at the time, but it's still unnerving and unsettling and uncomfortable. And like, it's actually like an oppressive film. Like, you almost feel it, like you could almost smell the sweat on the characters. And that's because it was like so low budget. It was like they ran out of money. They were bankrolled by literal gangsters. Like Sonny Francis has like a producer's credit on this, who's like was a big time gangster in New York City. It's insane. That's Michael Francis' dad. And just the way they were able to do it with showing like basically no blood. It's really not that violent. I think it also tells just an interesting story. There's a lot of subtext throughout it, but also just it exists great on its own. Leatherface is an iconic character. What can you say about Texas? All of these kind of fall into this. Number 4 is probably my favorite, we're going the other way. Number 4. Number 4 is probably my favorite. It might be my favorite movie. I don't know. It's like top 3. Rosemary's Baby from 1968, directed by Roman Polanski, starring Mia Farrow, John Cassavetes, and Ruth Gordon. A young pregnant woman becomes increasingly suspicious that her eccentric neighbors and her own husband are part of a satanic cult with sinister plans for her unborn child. So Roman Polanski is probably my favorite director. And I am obsessed with this film. And I'm not really, I wish I wasn't. because I actually don't really enjoy the messaging in it, but I just think it's amazing, man. Mia Farrow's performance, even John Cassavetes is like phenomenal in this as well. The dialogue, what I love so much about this movie is the way it plays with your head. Okay, a lot of us know that. Yeah, obviously. Okay, spoiler alert, guys. 60 years later, her unborn child is the Antichrist, right? So, or it's the seed of Satan. But here's the thing, right? It's still entirely plausible that right up until that last scene that she's just nuts, that Rosemary's just completely nuts. I mean, the way it's able to play on those two while spinning this story that makes perfect sense once there is the reveal, but it's still entirely plausible right until they have this absurdist scene and everyone's screaming, "Hail Satan," all that horrible things. Right up until that moment, it's plausible that Mia Farrow's character, Rosemary, is just nuts. It's a brilliant story of gaslighting, of trust. There's also undertones of feminism but it doesn't hit you over the head. I mean, it's not even stuff that I would go for. I love this movie. I just like the color patterns, the color themes throughout it, the music, the score, everything about Rosemary's Baby is like so close to perfect. I am obsessed with this movie. At number 5, we have another all-time great, and it's Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Obviously stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and Danny Lloyd. A family becomes winter caretakers of an isolated hotel with a violent history as a father's descent into madness threatens his wife and psychic son. It's not a perfect movie, actually, but it's an amazing movie. And I think that almost speaks to like how good the movie is, because I've had this sneaking thought, and I don't know if it's correct, but that there is a slight flaw in the movie, and not that slight, and it's that Jack doesn't really descend. I mean, he does obviously descend into madness, but he's such an asshole before he ever descends to madness that it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to sympathize with Jack. But then you have to think more. Is that actually a weak point of the movie, or is that just another aspect of what makes this great? Here's Jack. He's a prick. Doesn't make him a family massacrer. And he's drawn to this hotel, right? Because he's the type of person who's susceptible to this kind of things. And it's just part of, right? Sure, he's an asshole, but if you go back 6 months, a year, right? Has the hotel been working on him? And we don't know. Right. And there's just so much mystery and there's so much to see in this. And it's just infinitely watchable. I remember telling my boss not that long ago, I was like, yeah, man, I just been watching The Shining on reboot, like just on repeat, like over and over again. And he was just like, should we go talk to someone? I was like, no, it's all good. I'm just trying to work through different, and not even trying to get like new meeting, but just like work through different layers. The setting is perfect. The acting is phenomenal. Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, I mean, they're perfect. Even the kid is really good. It is, and it's cold, it's lonely, and it's cruel, and it's supernatural. It's everything I love. It's like the greatest haunted house movie of all time, but then there's so much more layers to that. It's freaking amazing. Obviously, Shining needs to be on here. At number 6, it is Halloween from 1978, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasant, Nick Castle. Escaped mental patient Michael Myers returns to his hometown to stalk a babysitter and her friends on Halloween night, launching the modern slasher genre. Yeah, Halloween is what I love the most about Halloween is Michael Myers. To me, he is the perfect villain. He's not really motivated by anything. He doesn't hate his sister. He barely even knows her. He was taken away as a child. He's driven by this primordial urge, and it's partially because he is human, but he's also not human. But this necessity to just kill, and I actually think that gets at how evil often operates in the world. A lot of times we want these clean, endings or these understandings to how the world operates, and I do absolutely believe in objectivity, but oftentimes evil doesn't have an explanation. It just is. It just exists among us, right? And it's a constant threat to us. On top of that, Michael's theme music is the best. Jamie Lee Curtis is phenomenal. I used to always have a crush on her because my friend Dylan introduced me to this movie, which is kind of, well, whatever. Let me not be rude. But yeah, always had a crush on her for years. The kills are great. It's not gratuitous, but it's violent. You know what I'm saying? It deserves to be on this list. At number 7, another slasher. We have Scream from 1996 from Wes Craven, starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Drew Barrymore. A mass killer terrorizes a small town, targeting a teenage girl and her friends, while the film knowingly plays with and subverts classic horror movie tropes. Scream. I feel like I've spoken about Scream a lot on this channel, but I'm just going to keep on doing it because I think Scream is actually slowly becoming somewhat underrated, the original Scream. At that time, we had almost moved past slashers. And then here comes a movie that's arguably the greatest slasher of all time. Probably not, but it's damn close. And the way it's able to tell this meta story, or the way it's able to introduce the meta into it and to make that funny and relatable, and you get it if you're a fan, but also tell a story to somebody who's never seen a horror movie ever, and work those together, and also to do the meta without spitting on fans, which is always what they do today, right? It wasn't so much that he was mocking fans, it was almost an ode to fans, right? A love letter, you could call it, to horror fans. Scream is, and like, dude, Ghostface is just so iconic. He's such a cool killer. The first one is unmatched. Well, I don't know if I'd say it's unmatched, actually. The first one's just, yeah, it's probably unmatched. It's so good, it belongs on this list. At number 8, we're going to change things up a little bit, guys. Okay, we'll raise it a little bit. We're going to 1990s Misery, directed by Rob Reiner. Just originally a Stephen King novel. It stars James Caan, Kathy Bates. I believe Kathy Bates won an Academy Award for a role here, as she deserved. A famous novelist is rescued from a car crash by a self-proclaimed #1 fan, only to discover she has no intention of letting him leave when she learns his fate for her favorite character. Oh my gosh. What's so cool about this? And look, I love supernatural horror. I love all of it. And I love even like the over-the-top stuff that's not that plausible, like Scream and Halloween. And all of it's cool to me. But what's really, really fascinating about Misery is there's no ghosts. There's no hatchet man. There's none of that. There's just a fan. And I think especially today, where we have this sort of what's the word, where people like think that they know you when they don't actually know you. Parasocial relationships are so common. It's even scarier today, right? But here's a woman who adored this man and almost was able, but then she also has a parasocial relationship with the characters in the book who aren't even real. But just the performance from Kathy Bates and the relationship between James Caan and Kathy Bates is the most interesting. It's tense. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's creepy. It's dark. And it is just freaking perfect. And the resolution, oh my gosh, you're waiting for it because you hate her. And he comes through in the end. Misery is so good. I think Misery is terribly underrated. People definitely know this movie and they know it's great, but they don't talk enough about it. They don't talk enough about it as a horror movie. So number 8, it is Misery. Number 9, we have 1979's Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, and Veronica Cartwright. The crew of a commercial spaceship encounters a deadly extraterrestrial organism that begins picking them off one by one, blending sci-fi with pure survival horror. So I'm not a big sci-fi horror guy. You'll notice that like The Thing isn't on this list. And there was a time when I would actually have almost had borderline negative opinions of The Thing, but Alien is so good. I love a slow burn. And to me, this is just the greatest slow burn of all time. The way it reveals it, even like when you get to the face hugger, like a face hugger is really uncomfortable. Like we don't know, right? It might just be like, hey, we can get this off of him, right? And then we're just going to go on. You know, it could just be like a giant, sort of like an octopus. You know, the octopus is stuck on. We're going to get it off, and then maybe he dies, but it's not the end of the world, right? No, it is pretty close to the end of the world, at least for nearly everyone on the ship. I also think, especially when we compare it to what came later, Sigourney Weaver's performance is so phenomenal in this, in that she's able to be brave and heroic and charismatic, but also still a human, right? It's one of my gripes about Aliens is that now we just have a Mary Sue. And a Mary Sue's no fun because a Mary Sue's not particularly relatable. And then the reveal with the robot is so freaking cool. The sound design is literally amazing. My one critique of this movie, it's a little bit, the volume itself is a little bit low, kind of annoying. Maybe it's a time thing. Either way, Alien definitely deserves to be on this list. I wish the ones like, although I did like the newish one as well. I wish Aliens was better though, and I wish they had kind of continued with this. But nonetheless, or maybe I had it as a standalone. Nonetheless, Alien from 1979, huge fan, definitely deserves to be on this list. At number 10, our last film is 1991's Silence of the Lamb, directed by Jonathan Demme, stars Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, and Scott Glenn. A young FBI trainee seeks the help of an imprisoned cannibalistic serial killer, Hannibal Lecter, to catch another active serial killer in a psychological cat and mouse thriller / horror. It's really the performances. It's a cool story. It's a somewhat unique story, but it's not like so over the top. But it's really the performances that do it. It's Jodie Foster, who's Agent Starling, and Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Their chemistry, their dialogue makes for just the creepiest, darkest moments. The way Hannibal's able to manipulate and seduce, and while he's still a cannibal, everyone knows he's a cannibal. I mean, this was just like truly the stuff of nightmares. I mean, you can even think back to the first time, I mean, that was infinitely memed, right? Like the mask that they put on him. Anthony Hopkins became that character, right? Like you can never think about it. And Anthony Hopkins has a lot of good roles. You can never think about Anthony Hopkins without thinking about Hannibal because it's just such an amazing character. On top of that, the sound design is amazing. I love like the color patterns throughout. I love the pacing of this. It's just an amazing film. Anyway, guys, that is my list for the top 10 greatest horror films of all time. And as I remind you, it is an objective list. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. You're just wrong. If you enjoyed this, though, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. And please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.